I know there was some controversial topics at the start of the last episode. I can't believe there was like zero blowback about any of it. It's just proves our listenership knows what they're getting into.
What did we talk about? Was that the KKK hat episode?
That came up.
Okay.
The communism hat.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that the news article post got taken down proves that this is the right time for a communism hat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that on the Mulder podcast they released the freedom pens?
I didn't see that.
No, they're just pens that say Mulder Outdoors.
Oh, so they're not actually.
I just freedom. I know, but I feel like anything that Andy sells should have the word freedom in front of it now.
So
I like that.
I do. I just like it. It has a great ring.
And anything that we sell as the oppression in front of it. Oppression gear,
oppression gear. Hey, that should be oppression. Yeah.
I feel like we could have pens, but they don't let you write certain words. Send notes to certain people.
have oppression pens. They have invisible ink, so no one can read what you're fucking writing. We could sell oppression pencils that have no lead in them. we never did the thing. Chevy, Dodge, Ford. Bench, cut.
I'm gonna play the Ram.
Really?
And bench the Ford. And if I never have to get in another fucking Chevy in my life, I'll be a happy man.
I'm gonna swap Chads around.
Ooh.
I'm gonna play the Chevy, bench the Ford, cut. What is the other one? Cut the Dodge.
The
Dodge.
Have you ever ridden in a Ram, Mike?
I have.
Have you? Like a full size truck, not like a half ton.
Most uncomfortable vehicle ever.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Mine has air ride.
It's terrible. The seats in a Ram are the most uncomfortable, horrible seats on the planet. My opinion. I can't stand them. I can't get. We have two Laramies. I have fucked with them a million ways. I cannot find a comfortable seating position in them. Plus, the front end of them is just self-destruct. Like, if you need to invest $3,000 to $4,000 a year in your front end parts, then you need to buy a Ram because they just self-destruct.
I haven't done any of this.
Well, you should take it in and ask them to look at the front end. I guarantee it's fucked up.
I'm not particularly hard on my vehicle.
It doesn't matter what you do with it. It's a fucking.
I love mine. Like,
for me, I would always play the Chevy, cheapest, most reliable truck by far.
Cheapest looking.
Well, I don't care, but I was actually having this. I don't give a shit about that. I want the most efficient truck, and if you have a 350 Chevy, automatic Chevy, that drivetrain's 100 years old, and that will be the most reliable vehicle on the planet. We filled mine with diesel. No effect on it. Just keeps fucking rolling on.
Because all the lights on the dash were already on.
No, none of them were
that
on.
anything else was wrong.
None of the lights on anyway, I will play the Chevy. I hate Ford trucks. I hate them. I hate everything about them. But I will still bench the Ford and I will cut the Dodge because they are fucking shit boxes.
Your company has multiple Rams.
2. They're shit boxes, both of them.
Really?
I have spent more money on those 2 shit boxes than I would ever spend on the Chevy. One of them costs like $6,000 to certify this year. It's a 2019. They look good. Like they look good going down the road. Like they do. They look sharp. I love the way they look, but they're just fucking total shitbox. I am quested to get rid of these 2 motherfucking things off. They are the biggest sucking of money out of my company when you run the numbers of anything on the planet is these 2 Dodge Rams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm very happy with mine. But I've only had one. And all my other Fords have been pretty good. So
yeah.
The Chevy is the only truck that's ever made me walk anywhere. So, mind you, they were older, right? I had a 2005 as my second landscape truck. You had to get out, and when it was cold out, you'd have to fucking hand pump the diesel pump to get it started. He's a
One thing
fucking
I will give
garbage.
Chevys, I will say about Chevys is their vent heating system is the shittiest of all three. I mean, the vacuum system that moves the vents around in a Chevrolet product is as shitty as the front end of a Dodge. Like, air fucking, like, it is and it's always the driver's side. Like, my truck will blow cold air to the passenger all fucking day, but no cold air or heat to my side.
Wow.
And I've read all this stuff in forums, and you got to unhook the battery. Literally, there's like a system where you unhook the battery for like 38 seconds and then hook it back up and then hit 5 different switches in a certain order, and it'll fix the vacuum things. And it works for like a week. And then it blows up again. Like, my truck also has some electrical issues. But it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 2015 and it's got 410,000 kilometers on it, so it hasn't had a great life. But I have always had great luck with Chevy trucks. Always. Even when we at Con Lake or whatever, all the trucks there were Dodges. There was one, was an 07 one time, 07 3500. We put 6 rear ends in the thing. It would just blow up the rear end constantly because there was some fucking manufactured default with it. The whole rear end would fucking explode. And the fucking amount of front end parts we put on those fucking things was just outrageous every year.
No, not me, but maybe I'm due. Maybe I'm coming due.
I don't know. Maybe my experience is not everyone's experience. That's possible.
I feel like the resale on a Ram is ridiculously high compared to other trucks. It must be the Cummins or whatever it is, but like you're paying a premium of 20 grand more for a Cummins than a Ford of the same year or
maybe
Chevy of the same year.
Ford trucks are crazy expensive right now. All of them.
Everything's crazy expensive. The rates are ridiculous. So,
yes.
Not the right time to be buying anything.
That's true.
My Bobcat T595 is listed. We're trying to get rid of it. And some guy
I've been looking at anyways, I saw it. Yeah. It's like, I know
somebody
that one.
offered to trade me their 2016 Chevy Camaro for my Bobcat.
Why would the Chevy Camaro is not worth close to the Bobcat?
No. And I just told him I can't drive a Chevy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, what the fuck am I going to do with this
2016 Chevy Camaro?
I feel like none of those cars age well. Like, as soon as they're older than 2 years, I feel like they're not worth what you think they're worth.
I feel like you'd be taking it up the ass if you traded a Chevy Camaro for a Bobcat. Yeah. I feel like, well, yours in particular, what's yours? What do you have yours selling for? Like 50 grand?
60 grand. 62, but
2000. So and this is a convertible. Was it a convertible?
No.
So 28,000, 34,000, 48,000 for this one. Big sale, 32,000, 28,000, 34,000, 37,000, 40,000. I feel like you were losing on this deal, Chad.
Well, I didn't take the deal.
You were fucking losing on
this. Of course. Are you crazy? I should go put in 2 patios for the price of 1 retaining wall. I'll still be ahead.
So these cars are also, in my personal opinion, ugly as ass.
Yeah.
This is so fucked up. So there's one car here, because this thing, Auto Trader gives you like this fair price thing. So this Chevy Camaro is $52,000 fair price. And this Chevy Camaro is $32,000 fair price. It must be based on kilometers or some garbage. Who knows? Man, Chevy Camaros vastly vary in price. MSRP was the MSRP on a Chevy Camaro in 2016, Chad, was $54,000. So even if this was a brand new Chevy Camaro in 2016, it's
still not as worth as much as that Bobcat.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done. Why would someone even ask that? That is a stupid deal.
Yeah. Well, we didn't take it, so the Bobcat's still around if anyone's looking.
So I had an epiphany. I was thinking about pretty strongly thinking about buying a bulldozer, but I think we're just going to get a super huge skid steer now.
Really?
Yeah.
What flavor of skid steer is it going to be? A Bobcat? Is it going to be?
I don't know. I've been looking at the biggest skid. I haven't looked at it yet. Someone told me a Cat 299 is the biggest one Cat makes. I looked up Minotaurs.
Oh.
So I was like, yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
did you find a price on them? We could never get a price.
I found one, but they're all in the States.
Oh.
I couldn't find a Canadian Minotaur. I was like, I don't know if I want to be the only Canadian with a Minotaur.
Yeah.
The first ever Minotaur. I thought about it a lot.
The communism Minotaur.
The oppression Minotaur.
The oppression
Minotaur. The States Minotaur. I thought about this a lot, and the kind of soil pushing that we generally do is not 40, 50 trucks. And I just felt like a really a T770 or an SVL 97 or apparently a Cat 299, whatever the biggest skid steer we could buy would be for what we push, and we would still be able to use it for other things. And everyone who works for us can run it, which I think was more the reason. Having a piece of equipment that only one person knows how to run doesn't seem particularly practical to me. But having in general, there's also a point made to me by someone that as soon as you start filling around a house and there's a bulldozer there, it attracts a lot more attention than if it's a guy with a skid steer.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah. I've thought about it a lot, and I feel like that's the way we're going to go with it. But I'm not totally 100%, but
you can make a lot of money with the big skid steer, I feel.
Like a T770 is it's like 100 horsepower skid steer.
Yeah.
It's a big I don't know how much horsepower 97 has.
We've never gotten one just because up until this past year, we've had nothing that could float that around, right? Our small floats are 14,000 pound floats. Yeah. Those machines are too big to take a skid steer that size.
They're big.
Yeah.
Well, so a couple of our clients have 97s. I've run one. They're an impressive machine. Like an SVL 97. It's I've always been super. There's I have some videos of us using an SVL 97 with a moose lifting massive fucking armor stones. Yeah. It's fucking that machine and that moose thing. That's like Andy Mulder would say, freedom, what a time to be alive.
We are hiring a D7. Is that a thing?
Yep.
D7 dozer? Yeah, we're getting one to the yard.
That's a fair size dozer.
Yeah, I'm going to push all the topsoil on my little 3-acre plot up into the back of the property.
That's smart.
Because we're planning on building a house, and all that topsoil is in the way. And the weeds are sky high there.
So a T770 is 6 foot 6 inches width over the tracks.
Wow. She's wide.
18-inch tracks. That's a big. Although I think we have tracks that big on our T595.
Really?
Our T595 has really huge tracks on it because you could order them something, and then I was like, no, I want them as big a tracks as you can put on it. It looks super cool. I don't remember how. I'll measure them maybe tomorrow. 92 horsepower. It has a operating weight of 10,327 pounds.
Yeah. She's big.
That's a fair. I feel like that's a fair size material.
Yeah. Until the conditions get wet, and then they're not so great, right? Like if you're trying to float, you're not doing any floating with a machine that big on top of wet ground.
I guess it would depend how wide the tracks are, maybe.
That's one of the reasons we got the ASV is because it's little and nimble.
So the PS It had the ground pressure rating. It was like 4.2 or something. So the bucket width on this machine is 80 inches.
Wow.
That seems pretty big.
Yeah. Like over a yard per bucket, right?
I would think so.
And that'll load a triaxle well. Like the T595 has a hard time, if it can at all, load a triaxle.
Oh, no, all of our T595 can load any triaxle.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like
unless they got big boards, unless they got big fucking boards on them and shit.
Yeah.
Ours all don't have any boards on them.
Oh.
I don't know. I've loaded them lots with the. Yeah, but our trucks don't have specifically because we get loaded by a lot of those SVL 75s, T590, those kind of machines.
Yeah, you're better off with low sides then.
So we have the we don't have sides on them. Ritchie Brothers. Let's see if it comes up.
Ritchie Brothers.
No, because Ritchie Brothers has if you're looking for the specs on a machine, Ritchie Brothers has the best specs. If you pull it up, it'll tell you the exact specs for a machine, but for some reason they don't seem to have them for this machine. I don't know why. They had them. That's where I got the ones for the T770 or whatever it was. I don't know why it doesn't show it. Anyways, I also like the SVL 97s. I feel like they're really good machines.
Was it the 97.2 or did they make a 97.3 yet?
I think they're still 97.2s. I don't think they made a 97.3 yet. Here's the specific.
Go ahead.
Did you get a 97.3?
Yeah, it's sitting at the yard right now. I'm afraid to take the plastic off the seat.
So they're saying SVL 97.2 on this Kubota USA thing.
Yeah.
96.4 horsepower. So it's got more juice. It's got more juice.
Than the Bobcat?
Yep. The Bobcat had 92, I think. I would definitely width with bucket. So it has an 80-inch bucket too. The problem with these machines is when they get this big, you have to put DEF in them.
Oh.
Because they're over the horsepower rating.
Yeah.
So you have to put DEF in them. I've always been impressed by the SVL 97, and I'm not a huge Kubota person, so that's just. Oh, there's one. We could do that.
What?
We could do Kubota Bobcat case.
I figured you'd put cat in there. I thought you were a cat guy.
Me? I've never owned any cat equipment in my life. I don't think I've even worked at a company that owned cat equipment.
For the most part, I don't feel like landscapers can afford cat equipment.
I think their skid steers are less.
Really?
I don't think their skid steers are super expensive.
Maybe I've had it wrong this whole time, but the salesman has always been such.
So, isn't he the guy from the gym?
No, that's the used Toromont cat equipment buyer and seller, not the guy from the gym. The sales rep for cat around here is very arrogant. Everything that's not cat is off-brand. Why would you even consider that? And I just can't. I can't see eye to eye with those people. Right.
So I've never spent a lot of time running a cat skid steer ever in my life, but the people who have run them, they seem to love them.
Our client has one that we used for a while, and it was whiny. For sure, it was that loud, whiny diesel, not the nice, quiet, computeristic Kubota diesel. I don't know. Whenever you're in them so much, I feel like the noise gets annoying. The MT100 sound, obnoxiously.
I think so. I find the Kubotas to be the most rattly machines there are because
the door on them.
of the door. Yeah. I find them to be loud and rattly the whole like. Yeah. I understand why it's happening because the door's there. But on the flip side of that, I think that they have the best door design of any machine.
Yeah.
Because it's there, and I'm sure it breaks way less frequently than the other ones.
The infamous door on our T595, we have lock boxes on all the machines. And the lockbox, which was on the handle of the T595 door, got jammed up under the arm and completely locked the operator in the machine, so much so that you couldn't move the arms at all, right?
Wow.
So, and it was 40 degrees out, and the AC doesn't work in that fucking machine. And we're pounding on the lockbox with a hammer, trying to get it open so we can get the door open. And we're like, come park in the shade. We'll try hitting it in the shade. And gorgeous. And the guy who was in it is not an operator at all, right? So he can't even do anything to help. And you're trying to like pull the hydraulic release on it to make it go down, but that doesn't work and everything's stuck. I'm like, this is a fucking nightmare. Imagine the machine was on fire and this happens. Like, this is a death trap.
Jeez.
So, anyway, don't put your lock boxes on the door handle. Find somewhere else to put them. You could cause a death in your company.
I feel like with all the shit that's passing past the door, that common sense says don't put a big box there.
There's nowhere else to put it on that fucking machine. I don't have a good thing to say about that machine.
I love ours.
I hate it. Hate it. From the service to the fucking.
Should have maybe traded it for a Camaro.
Yeah, yeah. If I didn't hate
you feel. Fuck. Oh my god! One of our Dodge trucks got to the job site today, and 2 of the wheel studs were broken out of the wheel.
Holy!
And so, like, I'm looking at it. They called me and said, "Hey, this." I said, "Okay." So, Brad was coming down. There was a multitude of things that he had to do on that job site, but the wheel nuts were like the lug nuts were like hand loose.
All of them, like the remaining.
No, there was one that was tight. So there was only 6 left, and of the 6, 1 was tight, and 5 I could spin off with my fucking hand. So I called the guy who drives the truck over, and I was like, just so we're on the same page, this is kind of part of the circle check. Like, oh my god, man. Like,
wow.
Anyways, no one got hurt, which is what's really important. And I feel like today on that we got Brad a little bit closer to his cottage. His goal of buying a cottage. We're driving him towards it. I don't know if he really has that goal. I'm just making that up. But anyways, I was like, I think this did, because they were only like 6 minutes from the yard. I don't think this happens. I feel like there might have been something anyways. All is okay, because all it was needed some new studs and some new 2 of the lug nuts were gone. So here's that. We had to buy a couple lug nuts. But
Brandini repaired our F750, which wouldn't start last week. So Friday we took a day and we did some shit around the yard, and it was good. Brandini cleaned all the trucks, and we were setting up some forms for the barn conversion. And I'm like, Brandini, get this fucking truck running. And I think it's just the contacts on the battery. So Brandini used to work at Kenny U-Pull. Do you guys have a Kenny U-Pull down near where you guys are? No? So Kenny
like
U-Pull,
a wrecking yard?
It's a wrecking yard where you go in and you can buy used car parts, but you have to take them out of the cars yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So Brandini used to work at Kenny U-Pull, where he would prepare the cars to go and sit in the yard for the rest of their life. So we drain all the fluids, take the batteries out, take all the anything that's worth anything that's not car specific, right? So Brandini gets under this big F750 on a piece of gator base that he uses as a floor mat to keep himself off the wet gravel. And
why didn't you post that as use 114 for gator base?
I don't know.
That's a big opportunity.
Yeah. Brandini's sitting under there, and he just rips out the battery contact between the starter and the battery. And he's like, this is why it won't start. And it's completely corroded through, like ripped into two pieces. I'm like, fuck, Brandini, you just saved me probably $800 at the dealer or at the mechanic. Sorry.
How old is that truck?
2005, 2007.
Oh, it's reasonable that that's rotted then.
Yeah. But like I've never seen them come apart in two pieces before. The terminal cable come apart.
No.
In two pieces like that. But
that's probably
does it ever start fast now? Holy shit, it's like a brand new truck.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. So
Brandini sounds more like a magician name than a rapper.
Well,
name.
He was a magician Friday, let me tell you that. So the next thing I'm going to have him tackle is one of our Chinese excavators. The starter won't work on it. It'll turn from the hand crank, but not from the key. So that's Brandini's next trick.
How's selling that one going?
Yeah. Some guy pulled into the yard today. He's like, hey, those are nice machines out front. Like, but I could really use one like that. And he points out the 2.5 ton shovel. Said, yeah, well, one's 10 grand, one's 55 grand. So what are you going to do here? Like, I understand you want the 2.5 ton, but it doesn't have the same price tag that the.
Did he have a Camaro to trade in?
No, he pulled up in a stupid fucking Chevy, though. No, nothing to trade. I would have traded the Camaro for the 1 ton. That's just about what it's worth to me.
How many excavators are left?
2.
That's it?
Just 2.
Aren't you going to keep one for your crew?
No, because I can't run it. It runs cat controls.
Doesn't someone run cat?
Yes, Shane does, but
couldn't it be Shane's special toy?
No, because we'll put them in the 2.5 ton or the 4 ton or the 8 ton. Or...
So are they sitting out front with an ad for sale on them?
Yeah, they have signs from the dollar store that say for sale. Call me.
How many people have called?
3 or 4. We got a bunch of Kijiji messages, a bunch of Facebook messages, but just can't reel her in.
How many did you buy in total? I don't remember.
6.
So you've broken more than broken even. You're in profit right now.
We're in profit, but I'm willing to let the next 2 go at my cost just to fucking get rid of the things. Like my days as a salesman are done. I can't deal with people.
So next winter, are you gonna buy what bunch of more Chinese excavators, or you feel like you're out of the Chinese excavator?
I feel like I'm out of it. Someone came in, cut me off at the knees, and I'm just trying to.
What are you gonna do what are you gonna buy next year at the Ritchie Brother auctions?
I really want a big buggy. That picture of the buggy that I sent you there. Yeah, I feel like that would have been money well spent if we bought a big buggy like that, a big Yanmar buggy.
You text me that, right?
Ages ago, yeah. I think so.
Oh, you just sent me
I sent you a hook truck, and then I realized it was a Max Force.
Oh God!
I'm like, well, they're trying to pass it off as a DT, but it's really a Max Force. Otherwise, sharp looking truck.
It still has the tag on it.
Yeah, I know, but they're claiming it's a DT 466 because they had that weird time frame where they tried to like mesh the two, right?
Yeah,
2008, 2009, or something like that.
That's a good hook, though. That's the same hook as mine. That's the same hook as My trucks.
Well, that could be a new hook lift just for you.
I'd be pretty worried about the. I don't think that would be something I would buy.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'd be kind of worried about that. I'm gonna be honest. That's a sharp looking truck though. It looks great.
Yeah, it's already got aluminum rims on it. You don't even need to put them on.
It comes with a flat deck.
And you know what those are worth.
Yeah, nothing. You never use them for fuck all. Great.
But the thicker metal, Mike.
That was a great investment on my part. It says it has a DT 466.
I know, but then the badge on the side says Max Force, does it not?
The badge on the side says Max Force. Did you message these fuckers?
No. Because I zoomed in and saw that Max Force and I said, I'm going to leave that one right where it is.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to pull some shit with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
When did Max Forces start?
With emissions, I think 2009, 2010, right? Emissions regulations came in, and I could be wrong. I'm not a truck guy.
So the multi-lift's of 2018. So someone bought this truck and put the lift on it.
Yeah. Polished turd.
That flat deck is way nicer than mine. Way fucking nicer. It's from Kingston.
Yeah. Could pick it up next time. Actually, so we were digging in trees last week and we hit the rate button line, right? And so we dug it up and waited
Another topic from last week.
Well, sorry to bring it up again. I just wanted
go ahead.
to.
No, I'm talking about the whole somewhat controversial topic from last week. I want to hear the end of the rate button story.
So we hit the rate button line and dug it up. I get a call last Wednesday, I want to say, and our guy on site saying the electrician can't get. They repaired the line. Now they can't get the connection through. It's plugged up somewhere else. I said, well, why wouldn't the electrician try and put the line through to the break, then make the repair, and then push it the rest of the way through? It's like, I don't know, but he didn't do that. He repaired it and then tried to push it through. It's like, is there anywhere else that the line could be broken along the way? But let me call the guy running the shovel. We'll see if he picked at it anywhere else. He's like, absolutely no, I didn't see it anywhere else. So we're getting to the point where the next option is exploratory digging, which is the fucking best way to lose your shirt on a job. Exploratory digging on a finished project is a fucking death sentence, right?
Exploratory digging. Wouldn't it be cheaper just to run a new line? Like, my God.
Well, everything is done. It doesn't matter. Either you're exploratory digging or you're running a new line, but either way, everything's getting torn up, right? So on Friday, after the rain was done, the exploratory digging commenced. And they made it from one tree to the next tree over before they realized that a giant fucking piece of shale that the civil contractor put in there as fill right on top of the electrical lines had been tugged over and sheared the conduit that the rape button wire was in.
Which all of that had nothing to do with you.
No, but because we were the last ones to dig, all of a sudden everything is our fault.
Yeah.
So.
And you were the only ones that still had an excavator there.
No, we went out to rent one. We got a Home Depot excavator.
Oh my God.
A little 2.5 ton, whatever.
How much did this exploratory digging that had nothing to do with you?
We're probably in it for $1,500. And that's not the low end of things. That's not including the time that the electrician stood there and watched the exploratory dig. So My question is, and I mean, I'm probably completely out of line here, but if you are backfilling, why the fuck are you using giant pieces of shale around the electrical lines?
There.
Because that's what's there. I think they should own some of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
That had literally nothing to do with it.
Well, I mean, we did dig, which, I mean, the line may have not have been sheared
but the line wasn't working when you hit it.
Well, the $1 million question, you'll never know, right? Like, so we did break it in one space, but was it already broken in the other space? It could have been. Or he hooked it with the tooth and pushed that piece of shale through the line from the tree before it, right?
I don't know.
But
does anyone know if it was working before you started digging?
No, nobody knew, right? And there was no way to check and no way to prove it. But as the last man out, we're responsible.
I feel like you got a bit jammed up here.
Yeah.
This is, yeah.
But that guy who initially backfilled with shale loves you.
Well, that's the civil contractor, right?
Oh yeah.
And are you working for the general or for the civil?
For the general.
Okay.
General.
So the civil contractor has no use for you.
No.
Is this a job with the old guys?
No. The old guys are good.
I was gonna say, if a bunch of old guys used some shitty shale to backfill, I wouldn't be shocked.
No. These were younger guys. But another thing that happened at this same project is this rooftop wall something happened where the wall was poured too high, or the grade for the interlock wasn't high enough to make it over top of the wall. So the wall had to be cut down. But we were given the height for the interlock, so it wasn't our fault. But then they ended up shaving the top of this wall off and then putting this sort of like putty to waterproof the wall after. But then the interlock still didn't work out, so we had to shave a belly under all the interlock that went over that ridge, and it was just a fucking giant waste of time.
You had to shave the inside of the interlock to line up with the wall. So it was too tall.
Yeah, so you shaved a belly out of the underside. So you're taking the quick cut and you're running it back and forth in the middle of the slab. And
talk about a vaporization of money.
Yeah, I'm like, how are we doing on this job? And 2 weeks ago, oh yeah, we're doing good. And then at the end of last week, we're like, I don't know, we're doing so hot anymore.
There's some exploratory digging and some belly shaving and exploratory digging really dragged this project down.
Yeah, they can go wrong just like that. So
the boys were digging a pool today, and I went in the backyard, and the first thing, there's like an electrical conduit running dead center through the pool. Fucking awesome. Perfect. Like, the electrician's coming soon. And I'm okay, well that's good. Like, sure. Like, but it's like, of all the places to run this who, when they were running the electrical conduit, whoever did it before the new homeowner, he didn't run the conduit. But who looked at their yard? I was like, where electrical conduit needs to go? Dead center, right through the fucking yard. Like, when you run it up the side or something, why would you run it dead center? It's just super fucked up.
Was there caution tape over this electrical line?
No, this was like a buried homeowner conduit.
The last time we did conduit, we put it in the ground, and the electrician says, "Did you put live wire tape on top, or buried electrical line tape? It has to say buried electrical line." I said, "No, it says caution." Well, it has to say buried electrical line. It can't say caution. I said, if you're digging up a fucking tape, do you think you're going to stop to read what it says? If there's a tape there to begin with, it doesn't matter. You're going to stop digging. Fuck off.
How much of
does it have to say it in French? Like, what if you don't speak the language?
How much
does it have to be Spanish?
I'm gonna guess while you were having this conversation, you were bearing this line for free and not getting paid.
Absolutely. You know I was.
This guy's like, you're not doing this job for free for me properly. Why don't you fucking do it yourself?
Is this documented? Yeah,
We buried shit tons of line at the place that shall not be named, and that buried electrical line shit, and we had to take pictures of it all and send it and document it, and then they had this guy come around with a GPS, and he would GPS every line, he'd make a overall drawing of it for later. So, but they were like, "Why is this job taking so long?" I'm like, "Well, the GPS guy only comes here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 1 hour, and we're digging 100 kilometers a week worth of electrical line, and so some of this electrical trenching is sitting open for 3 weeks because he has to like tap his GPS and document it." I was just fucking, and then the grades were so fucked that some of the conduit was just lying on the grade as it was, and then we were burying it in HPV and putting this tape on it, the buried electrical line. I'm like, it's above ground. Like, we not backfill the rest and then dig it? Oh, it's just so.
I'm surprised you didn't have to shape a belly in the interlock so that the electrical line would fit.
I have shaved a belly in my day. I can't think of the exact circumstances of the belly shave, but I have done some belly shaving.
I've done it on multiple occasions. I would go so far to say they should make a quick cut blade, especially for belly shaving.
There you go.
I think I've yet to
see. And I think
one.
If they do, if someone doesn't call me 3 times a day about it, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Would you sponsor that on the podcast? A belly shave blade?
A belly shave blade? For sure. Who wouldn't sponsor a belly shave blade? Do you think that your blade would have belly shaved better if you dressed it first with the dressing stone?
Probably. What does that do? That lines up someone told me that lines up the diamonds. Which I don't know how the fuck you could line up
I don't think it lines up the diamonds.
Someone says it stands them on end. Like, I don't think they're like dancing little diamonds.
Ever inquired if the diamonds in your diamond blade were ethically sourced? I feel like diamond blade diamonds are 100% coming from some child labor diamond mine.
Oh boy.
So if you're running a battery saw with diamonds on it, you are the devil. You've got to be the devil. The lithium and
a lithium battery saw with some
diamonds.
Next time a diamond blade salesman calls me 3 times a day, I'm going to ask them if the diamonds in their blades are ethically sourced. I think anyone listening to this podcast, whenever you're talking to a diamond blade person from this moment forward, should inquire if the diamonds are ethically sourced and if they can prove that. Because no one's ever cared about that before.
Yeah.
Today, because it rains every day, in my world, it seems to rain. I don't know what you guys are like in Cornwall, but it seems to rain every day here. It's been terrible. I was standing with Lucas on the road, and I looked at him and I said, I had really hoped I would be dead before climate change kicked in. Like, I had really banked that any kind of climate change shit that happened would be the problem of my children, and I would be dead and not care. I felt like the planet was good for another 10, 15 years to get me through it. But now it rains every fucking day, and I'm starting to think the planet is dying faster than me. And that's fucked up, because I had really planned on dying before the planet.
Don't worry, the aliens are coming first. So
the aliens are already here.
That's
the
what
government covered it up. That's true. That was when they were making the announcement about the actual landing of actual aliens when that stupid submarine imploded, and all of a sudden that's all that the fucking legacy media covered was stupid submarine stories. They're like, there's this thing now that came out. The people in the submarine knew they were going to die. I'm like, yeah, it imploded on them. I don't think any of them were like, I'll hold it out with my strength and keep it from crushing me. These fuckers die. Yeah, they die. Oh, they know they're dead. The people in the submarine knew they were dead. Well, yeah. Like, I can think of, and the only thing that survived was the controller.
No way.
Yeah, it was in the wreckage.
They were talking about how that was the shittiest piece of the entire sub.
It was like a PlayStation controller.
Yeah, like a knockoff one though. Like
it was a Pro Logic. The guy that makes those controllers released a statement saying, "Please do not control your deep sea submarines with my second grade video game controller." There was pictures where like it's like a double fiberglass hull. I don't know everything about it, but the guy had drilled the video screen monitors into the side of the submarine. What if screw had gone through? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
What about that girl on the plane there? Did you see that one?
Where she
that person's not real?
Yeah.
What was that all about?
So, I don't know. I only caught the tail end of it, but this girl's screaming that motherfucker's not real, and you don't know who she's pointing at. And
I love how the camera goes to her and she points. She's like, "That person's not real," and then the camera goes over to the back of the plane. I can just imagine, like, if that was me, I'd be like, "What?"
First, was she? Yeah, did she think there was like it was some kind of like a ghost or something?
No, a lizard person.
Oh, a lizard person.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He's on his way to the WF for him.
Our lizard overlords.
Oh man,
Trudeau is getting divorced.
Yeah.
Did you guys see why?
No. Did they release why?
Well, this could be a reason, but his wife just last year started a federal corporation to help with government communications. But if they're married and he's an elected official, there's a conflict in her having government contracts, and it has to be looked into. If they're not married, like they are currently separated, she can get as many government contracts and there can be no investigation into it.
Yikes.
So there's also a rumor that she's dating James Hetfield from Metallica, and they were together at the Culture Club concert. I saw that and I was like, this has got to be made up, but whatever. I don't know. They're getting around.
As much as I'm not a Metallica fan, I'm also not a Trudeau fan, and I think I'd pick Metallica over Justin Trudeau.
It didn't devastate me if that guy was fucking his wife. I was okay with it. Whatever happens to that guy, I really could care less.
We cover a lot of topics on this podcast. Our listeners are getting a wide variety of
a wide variety. I think that's 2 hours, Mike.
I think so.
All right.
Do you have outro music?
I don't.
Can we replay the intro music?
Should we do that to end things off?
Let's replay. Yeah. This is the end of the podcast. We're exiting with the intro music.
Is there anything that you want to do? You want to do your outro first, PK, while I kind of get things shared?
I just did it. Well, I said this is the end of the podcast.
All right, you guys let me see my screen.
We're ready. This is the end of the podcast.
All right.
This is the outro music.
Welcome to the Kid
Not Our Finest Hour
podcast with
Favor King, the Landscape Daddy, and I Am a Hardscaper.
On this show, we
talk shit.
Your host,
Favor King, the Landscape Daddy,
runs a successful 7-figure business and has over 20 years in the industry. The kid has learned some valuable lessons he wants to share with you. The principles discussed will energize and empower you to crush your goals. And now from the studios, the
Not Our Finest Hour
podcast with your host,
Favor King, the Landscape Daddy, and I Am a Hardscaper.